Huh?
Some people are seeing that. I know, that's really unfair.
Let me tell you what, I've been doing weigh-ins for a long time. Big ones in Vegas, big ones everywhere. That was insane. That was the greatest weigh-in I've ever been to.
I heard this morning you got something to record the decibel levels or how loud?
Yeah, we're going to record the decibel levels, how loud it is in there tomorrow night.
Have you done that before?
No, never done it.
Is that something that you're going to do at every event maybe and see where the loudest crowd is? Or?
Yeah, we could do that. I think these guys are going to win. I think these guys are going to win. Pound for pound. I said this last time I was here. Pound for pound, the loudest place I've ever been. You know, there's going to be 9,500 people in there. And it's going to sound like there's 90,000.
Dana Carter said it was a mistake to put in such a small arena that he could have sold 80,000. Do you agree with
Who said that?
Connor.
Connor?
That he could have sold 80,000.
Tell Connor to relax, you know, worry about the fight tomorrow, and we'll worry about how many seats we can sell in Ireland.
Do you think he can?
Yeah, you know, if that kid, how about if he's fighting for a title? Probably.
Could you describe why it felt so electric in there tonight for us?
God, the Irish, man, they go crazy. They're loud. They're loud. It's fun. That was a good time.
I was going to say, is there any danger at all to like the expectation level that Conor has brought on himself and that the people have? It's like, if this isn't the greatest fight of all time, it's almost a letdown in some ways.
It's impossible for it not to be. You know, the way these two are fired up, Diego's in great shape. You know, this is an important fight for both guys. Obviously, this is a really big test for Conor. He's been off, you know, for over a year, and now he's fighting Diego. Diego's no joke. You know, Diego, the one thing that everybody has to remember, Diego went through some personal problems, you know, last year. I think this Conor McGregor fight woke him up, and Conor talking trash and him talking trash back has really set a fire under this kid's ass.
They look like in the best shape that we've ever seen him in.
Yeah.
What, and he obviously pulled you aside and said something to you that before Conor came out.
He said, if that motherfucker comes near me, I'm going to headbutt him in the face.
Were you concerned that it was going to boil over there? Because he was jumping.
Yeah, I said, I promise he won't come near you. I'll make sure. I'll take the headbutt in the face before I let that happen. Yeah, I wasn't going to let that happen. I knew that these two, they were talking smack behind the curtain, and then this is where we did the fighter meeting, and I guess they started up in here too, before I got here. So, yeah, those two are ready to go. But yeah, it's not that the expectation, you know, that this better be the greatest fight ever. I mean, there's no. This is exactly how I think the first round is going to go down. I think there's going to be no feeling out process. I think these two are going to run right out and just start dropping bombs on each other. And whoever can make it out of the first round into the second round without getting knocked out or whatever happens, you know, you're talking, they're both going to have that crazy adrenaline dump, nervous energy, and all the other thing that's going to go along with this massive main event in this place where it is the loudest place I've ever heard in my career. I think you know, there's so many factors going into this fight tomorrow, and Diego has a lot more experience and these type of things. The kid was on The Ultimate Fighter. I tell you what, I don't care what anybody says about The Ultimate Fighter, it's the hardest thing to go through. He went through that, he won it, you know, he's been through some personal problems, and it looks like his mind's in the right place and he's back in shape. So this is a real test for Conor McGregor.
I thought the other cool thing was that it's not just like a one-person card for the Irish fans. I mean, they were supporting everybody.
Oh, yeah.
So does that get you excited about this market and feeling that it's not going to be 5 years before back, and it's not just if Conor McGregor wins that we'll come back? I mean,
well, people were asking me that today in the you know, what happens to this market without Conor McGregor? I said, we were here last time without Conor. Conor McGregor was a fan in the stands last time we were here, and it was crazy, you know. So, yeah.
Are you back though because of him? Are you back now because of his popularity?
Well, we were going to come back here no matter what, whether Conor McGregor surfaced or didn't surface, but it definitely doesn't suck to have Conor McGregor, you know, as popular as he is.
Do you think this show could have sold out the way it did with just one fight on the card, just him? He's that popular?
I have no idea. You know, last time we came here and sold out with, you know, these guys were ready to see UFC last time we were here. The Conor McGregor thing just makes it that much. I'll tell you what's different. I'll tell you what the Conor McGregor factor brings. We're on open TV here tomorrow, free TV. You know, this country is one of the top in supporting their guys when they do something. And this thing This thing reaches everybody in this country. This channel we're on, it's like 99.9% of the country has this channel and can watch it.
Have you noticed a spike in Fight Pass subscriptions leading up to this show?
Fight Pass is going to do very well.
It
will in Japan too. The Japan fight will.
Right, but is there a direct correlation between this show coming
Absolutely.
up?
These fights these next fights that are coming are going to be huge for Fight Pass.
You like obviously.
Yeah, people. I don't know if you noticed the shift in how people feel about Fight Pass now. Had a lot of negative, responses in the beginning, in the U.S. But the rest of the world, it was doing great. But now it's all turned, and Fight Pass keeps getting better and better, and it will continue to get better. And these type of fights are the type of fights you don't want to miss.
You've been a big Conor supporter, obviously, from the get-go, from the start with the UFC. What was it about him that you identified with right away, that you said that you kind of got behind him right away? There's
some people you meet, like a Conor McGregor, a Ronda Rousey. I was so against women's MMA. And I sat down in a room with Ronda Rousey, and the first 15 minutes I was talking to myself in my head. I was like, holy shit, I think I'm going to do this. Holy shit, I think this girl's and obviously the rest is history. She wins an ESPY, and not just an ESPY for fighting, the best female athlete. It's like if it was the Oscars, it's the best female actor and best male actor. She won that ESPY, And then Conor McGregor, I can't remember what time I was here, and everybody kept telling me about this kid Conor McGregor, and for some reason I thought he was a heavyweight. And all you got to do is meet the kid the first 15 minutes, and you just got that it factor, that thing that you don't have to be Irish to like Conor McGregor.
Danny, you mentioned women's mixed martial arts starter on the update to Sonnen and Gina Carano.
Next week.
She's going to be signed?
Next week. I have a meeting with her on Monday.
How confident are you that you're going to sign her?
I'm pretty confident.
Dana, 15 months ago you were in Ireland and honoured by Trinity College. When you were over here that time and you saw the support for yourself and the support for the brand, did that help solidify your decision to come back to Ireland as soon as possible?
We were already coming back. I mean, that blew me away, how many people showed up over there for that thing. That was insane. I didn't expect that at all, but yeah, it was awesome. I had a blast.
And if I could just build on that and say, you spoke previously about having the card not being reliant on Conor McGregor, and we see that with 5 fighters from this island on the card. If you are to return to Ireland, can we expect similar numbers on the card?
Well, yeah, that's sort of what our plan has been as we go into these other countries now, is building this local talent. Whether we're in China, whether we're here, whether we're in England or anywhere else, we're looking to build. I think our last trip here, just like everywhere else we've gone, started this explosion where there's all this talent that's starting to pop up over here. Wait till we leave this time, when almost 100% of this country can watch this thing on free TV. It's going to be a big deal.
Don't worry, the next wave is already banging on the door, ready to get in.
Yeah, no,
Dana,
I'm ready.
You have Irish ancestry, right?
I do.
What is that? What's that family history there?
My grandmother's actually moved to the U.S. when she was 5 or 6 years old, and her name is Maddie O'Neill, and she just passed away recently. She was 93 years old. But yeah, she was from here.
Do you know what part? The reason I asked that about
it was either Cork or I can't remember. I think Cork.
Yeah, we don't mind down south.
The reason I ask about your ancestry is it a little bit frustrating for Lorenzo and Frank that here you are bringing another card to Dublin, yet they haven't cracked Italy
The
yet.
Irish. You know what I mean? It's the best, man. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a bummer for them.
Why have you never been to Italy?
Huh?
Why have you never been to Italy?
We have a joke. Me and the Fertitas always joke about Irish and Italian. Ethnic jokes that fly back and forth. I won't say it here. That's some shit. But yeah, they want to do Italy bad.
Keeping the reception in there, will it be 5 years before you're back again?
No. Well, we had this type of reception last time too. Everybody forgets. That last event here was crazy. I think that's the last event that happened here is part of the reason this event, the event itself has become like a big event. You know what I mean?
The hype is different this time around though with Conor.
Oh, definitely.
And
I agree.
Up a level. So you know, what are your plans for Ireland?
Well, here's the difference too. The difference is I was just tweeting about the paper, the Sun that had that pull-out section in there. It's a big difference when you come back and you're highlighting the kid in the main event who's from here, you know, and has such a huge following and people. Like I said, Ireland reminds me of Mexico in the way that it supports its people when they become, you know, when they're on their way and they start to become popular, doing great things in a sport. It's very much like Mexico, man. Like the whole country gets behind him, and that's the difference with Conor. And like I said, in the paper and everything, everybody can talk about a specific kid who's from here.
And how's your experience been rolling up the kind of pre-fight activities, the open training today? Has been positive and
everything has been amazing, man. The buzz here has been incredible. It's all been good. Last time I was here in Trinity, I was dealing with Meniere's, and I promised the people that showed up there that I was going to take them out for a drink. So tonight I'm actually going to go do it. I have a pretty good feeling I'm going to get fucking hurt tonight.
Should we tell everybody where you're going to be?
Yeah, well, I haven't decided yet. We're strategic. Every pub in town wants me to go there.
Yeah,
so I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to do it and try not to get killed tonight.
Has to be a pub crawl then, doesn't it?
Huh?
Has to be a pub crawl then.
It's going to be interesting.
A while back, Dana, you were talking about, or it was actually Gary talking about the appointment of a Euro matchmaker. It seems to have gone quiet on that front.
About what?
A European matchmaker.
Yeah.
Is that still on the table? Is that still on the cards?
You know, no. We did talk about that for a while, but you know, the guys we got right now, I'm going to stick with them doing the matchmaking.
Dana, you've talked for a long time about you go to a market for the first time and then it kind of spreads like a virus. This, to me, feels like the first example of that because you have guys who were fans 5 years ago and there's enough distance.
The UK is a great example, too.
But where we saw guys who were fans.
The first time I went to the UK,
right.
I went looking for a place for martial arts. They had like one place. And there was like a couple of guys. Australia's another place. You know, there were two guys that actually fought in the whole country of Australia. Canada is one of those places. But, you know, Ireland, it just seems so much more. But you got to remember when we went to England, you know, our first time that we went to Manchester.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was insane. The Manchester fight when we went there. And Bisping came out and the place was crazy. You know, it just feels this way now because it's been so long since we've had a market that you go into and you got, you know, a guy like Conor. Bisping was that guy up in Manchester. And so, you know, it's happened here in Ireland just like it's happened in all the other countries that we've gone to.
Conor says that he has a vision he'll be the champion before the end of the year. Is there any chance that actually happens, that if he wins this fight, it would have to be his next fight, you know, if he gets tough? There's no chance.
You know, I understand, you know, I love this kid. I love his attitude. I love the way he thinks. I love how much of a real fighter this kid is. And all the things that make Conor McGregor, I love. But I'm not going to rush him into something. He needs to. This is a big test for him. You know, let's be honest. If he goes in there tomorrow night and smokes Diego Brandao with the shape he's in and everything else being Diego, that's impressive. Then we give him another test in the top 10. Then you move him up into possibly the top 5 if he looks impressive in that one. There's a way to do it.
Would you keep him in Ireland? Would you keep him for like the next 3-4 fights in Ireland, or do you think that it's important to move him around?
Yeah, it's important to move him around. Yeah.
Dana, how's Tough 20 going?
How's what?
Tough 20.
Tough 20 is going good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Last time we spoke in Berlin.
I'm actually pissed that I got to miss the fight today. The fight today is a really good fight. I'm bummed out that I'm missing it.
Souza?
I'm bummed I'm missing it though.
Last time we spoke in Berlin, I asked you about the format of the show in terms of will it be split up into teams, and you weren't giving anything away there.
Yeah.
Any update? Or
it's different. There's teams, but it's totally different than anything we've ever done.
How do you mean?
Just we didn't do it the way that it's always been done. You'll see.
Dana, Claudia Gadelia, obviously a very impressive performance the other night. The strawweight debut in the UFC. You know, what's her situation now? Is she going to have to wait to fight on the finale in December? Or are you going to match her up against maybe one of the losers in the house?
Yeah, she looked good the other night. You know, her first fight in the UFC. You know, it's a lot of pressure. I don't know. Yeah, she's probably got the best abs in the UFC, right? Who's got better abs than her? Nobody.
Roy Nelson.
Yeah.
If you,
Ab.
if you sign Gina next week, as you're confident in, and you said you're confident in doing so, is it still 100% that she would get the next shot at Ronda? Is that part of the deal?
I think so. Yeah.
Would that be for maybe the New Year's card, as far as how it would? Do you have
December,
time?
probably.
December. Okay.
Dana, any update on the status of Jose Aldo's injury, and is there any possibility of maybe Chad Mendes, Cub Swanson interim title fight?
Aldo's injury was only going to hold him back 45 days, so we're going to put that fight in somewhere else.
And just when talking about title fights, there's a lot of speculation that the winner of Brad Pickett and McCall might be right in the cusp of a title shot this weekend. How far away do you think the winner of this fight is?
I don't know, but I got to see how everything plays out on Saturday night, and then we'll go from there. You can ask me the same question Saturday night.
I was going to say, I mean, speaking about the flyweight division, obviously the title fight that was announced got kind of a ho-hum response from fans. Was there any talk at all about with Carano stepping in? Well, and I think a lot of it was, I mean, look how great Lineker looked the other night. Obviously, you have a fantastic flyweight fight this weekend. Was there any thought, we could just wait 7 days? Maybe
You're going to make me say all this shit again. When people are ho-hum, look at the card the other night. I mean, you just never know what's going to happen. Lineker is, oh my God, that kid's a monster. That division is fun. It's exciting. There's a lot of tough guys in there.
So was there any thought to hey, maybe we wait 7 days, let that Lineker fight play out, let this big flyweight fight play out this weekend before we make this decision to put Carano in there? No.
Why did Demetrius have to come back so soon? Was there a reason for that? Did he ask to come back? Because he just fought.
Yeah. When did he just fight?
He fought in Vancouver in June.
Yeah, June. That's right. Yeah, no, I think we asked him to.
Okay. So you wanted and that's why Carano was the best available guy. You wanted him to be on that card in particular.
Yeah.
Any particular reason why?
To make the card stronger.
Okay.
Yeah.
James, if you just go back to the card for Saturday, we all know most of the public will be here to see Conor McGregor versus Brandel. What other fight stands out for you?
Say that again?
What other fight apart from the main event stands out?
Yeah, obviously the co-main event with Gunnar Nelson. He's fun to watch. The kid is his stand-up is so unorthodox and yet so effective, and he's obviously a huge fan favorite too. People love Gunnar Nelson, and the Pickett McCall fight, another great fight. Yeah.
Well, Dana, there was supposed to be a breaking news press conference this morning. It was postponed. Can we get any sort of inkling into what that was about?
There was breaking news on the phone this morning?
No, there was supposed to be a breaking news press conference today, but it was postponed.
I'll take that one, Dana. There was a European-specific announcement around some of our commercial partners. We've had to wait on making that announcement. We just couldn't get to getting everybody to sign off on it straight away, so we've had to hold back. But we'll be back with the announcement.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
What sort of time frame are we looking at?
Within the next 10 days.
Okay, that's right.
I've had a chance to speak to Nate Diaz. Why do you think he's rebelling so much?
Who?
Nate Diaz.
Nate?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Do you think?
Oh, sorry.
Do you think maybe if you had a chance to sit down with him face to face, you can work things out?
Probably not.
Who's difficult?
Probably not.
Is it Nate? Or
he's
his
under
manager?
contract. He's under contract. When he's ready to fight, he can fight. The kid makes good money. The kid makes really good money. And the unfortunate part is he's not a needle mover. His brother is a needle mover. He's not.
Is any progress with Nick?
Nick is. Nick's not holding out. Nick's not doing. Nick said, "I'm just not going to fight for a while. I'm going to retire." And I think that when that's your mindset, you need to take some time off. This isn't baseball or some sport where you can, whatever. This is fighting, man. You've got to be all in or all out.
Is this one of the situations where maybe you and him can't work things out, and maybe Lorenzo can? Has Lorenzo reached out to him separately?
To who?
To Nate. Has Lorenzo tried to reach out to him to try to sort things out? Or
no.
No.
This isn't a sort things out thing. You're under contract. You just signed this contract.
He's unhappy for some reason. So
who is happy? Who's really at the end of the day? At the end when we signed Melendez is when he got unhappy. When his partner got his contract, he became unhappy.
Do you like the idea of Nick Diaz coming back and potentially fighting Anderson Silva when he comes back. Do you think that works?
Whoever Nick, I mean, when Nick decides to come back, we'll talk about who he's going to fight then. There's no sense in talking about matchups for Nick until he's back.
Dan, what's the? Can you give us any insight on the holdup of announcing the venue for Jones Gustafsson too? Like we know Vegas, but
you'll know when we tell you. When we tell you, you'll get it.
Dana,
it's tricky.
Is that because Mayweather's fighting 2 weeks earlier, or nothing to do with that? No.
It's been mentioned a lot about the 5 years since the UFC came back to Ireland, but it's been 7 years since the UFC went back to Northern Ireland in Belfast. Is there any plans to go back to Northern Ireland anytime soon?
Yeah, I mean, you know, what we're finding now, and Dana's articulated it well, is that we used to ask cities if we can come into the city, and now people are asking us to come, so that they're on the list, clearly. And after the success of this weekend so far, they're clearly on the list, so yeah, we'd like to get back.
As part of your plan, Paul, have these events like Dublin, Northern Ireland, maybe Stockholm, all set the same date every year? How close are you to making that happen?
Ideally, that's what we'd like to do. And Dana talks about it all the time, about consistency, to make sure that the fans can prepare and plan, the networks can prepare and plan, the commercial partners can. It's all part of the business.
And just saying that on that point there, the response and the reaction to this market here in Dublin and in Ireland, the way the fans will tickets when I think in 3 minutes or something like that. Does that have to make you rethink your strategy of the MEA events in like scheduling and things like that?
Yeah, you just wish they had bigger arenas. I mean, that these guys created this monster, and it's catching fire everywhere. So now ironically 5 years ago we were here. Yesterday at the Open Workout Conference, everybody's asking when are we going to Croke Park. Jesus, 60,000 people.
70, yeah.
So that's something you're seriously considering.
Of course, because the sky's the limit. These guys have got this business.
I don't remember who was there at the press conference when I told you when we hired him. I said, watch what this guy does with Europe, and look what he's done with Europe since he's been here. The job that he's done is unbelievable, and we knew he was the guy. And I'm telling you, there's things that you guys don't even know. The behind-the-scenes stuff that this man has done. He's unbelievable, and it's one of the best hires we've ever had in the UFC.
What are some of the factors that dictate exploring a new market?
What are some of the factors that dictate
whether or not you go into a new market, or say, for example, a country in Europe, they came to you, say on a governmental level, they came to you and said, we love the tourism aspect of this, would you consider coming here?
That helps, yeah. It definitely helps when the arena is excited about you coming, the city and country you're coming into is excited about you coming, sponsors in that market are excited about you coming, the networks are excited, all that stuff really helps. And I'll tell you what's interesting, and he can talk more about it, but this Dublin card has really kick-started Europe, and a lot of people in Europe, different European cities now, are very interested in the UFC because of this Dublin card, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Dana, there was a report today that Cerrone's going to fight Nurmagomedov. Is that true? At 178?
That was supposed to be true. That fight is made. It's done. 20 minutes later, he went into the gym and blew his knee out.
Who's that?
Habib.
Really? 20 minutes later.
20 fucking minutes later.
So he signed, it was all good?
Done. Bout agreement's done. Email went out last night from Joe Silva, said this fight is done, both contracts are signed, da-da-da-da-da, boom. 20 minutes later, you're not gonna fucking believe this, the fight is off.
And what kind of an injury is it? Like ACL?
Knee? I don't know.
Is it an injury where you just save Cerrone for later?
No.
He's out for a while?
He's out.
So what do you do with Cerrone now?
Make another fight.
Anyone come to mind?
No.
He's pretty close, right?
We had a fight done.
No, I know.
If we had another one done, we'd be really good.
But he's right there.
Yeah, he is right there.
Right?
Yeah, let's talk about that. I didn't see you guys. How fucking awesome did he look in that fight? How about he stopped him twice? He finished, just seen him in. He looked awesome. Cerrone stopped him twice. Stopped him with the shot to the body. Ref let him recover and get back up and fight again, and then stops him with a head kick.
Maybe a Nate Diaz rematch. That could be the one.
Come on, you guys. Ridiculous.
No?
Call Nate and see what he says.
Well, he's
get it done, Ariel.
He's specifically. Do I have your
Yep.
Do I get a cut of the page? Awesome. It's on the record.
Yeah. You think that pay-per-view is big enough for you to get a cut?
Well, it depends on who else, but I maybe disagree with you.
Listen, I don't like when I
you said he isn't a needle mover. I think Diaz is.
Nate Diaz is not a needle mover. I love Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz is actually one of my favorite kids. I always got along with Nate. Nate was always great. Lowest rated Fox show ever.
What about the Tough Finale when he headlined that?
Lowest rated Fox show ever. His number, he doesn't pull the numbers in.
Which one? The Jim Miller one?
Nick is a needle mover. Nick moves the needle.
Which? Because he headlined 2 Fox shows.
Yeah.
Which one?
He doesn't pull good numbers. Both of his fights did not pull good numbers. But listen, if Nate Diaz was the guy, we'd work it out in a minute. You know, if you move the needle, those are the guys that make the big money. You know, you realize he's like 1-3 in his last 3 fights. He's 1-3. You know, he's nowhere near a title fight. He's never won a title.
I'm not saying he deserves a title fight. Just, you know.
And he doesn't move the needle.
It seems like he's very popular. That's why people keep.
Seems like it's popular when you're looking on fucking Twitter and some websites. But the numbers, the real numbers, tell the truth. We know who moves needles and who doesn't move needles. If Nate Diaz was a massive needle mover, he was just asking me, how about Lorenzo getting? Yeah, we'd have called him. He'd be on the phone, we'd be figuring it out, and we'd work it out. He doesn't move the needle.
I'm just going off his last fight, which was on Fox Sports 1, not Fox. And that did over 1 million views.
Go off both the fights. He just doesn't move the needle. If he was, we'd figure this thing out. He's got a contract that he just signed. You know, he's not in the, you know, I know he trains with Melendez. Melendez is one of the top guys in the world. He's the #1 ranked guy in the world. Next in line for a title shot. He's a former world champion. Nate has absolutely none of those, you know, nothing like that on his resume. And he's 1-3.
Dana,
in his last few fights.
Sorry, Dana. The UFC do an awful lot of work to lobby for the legalization of MMA in New York. Have there been any lobbying efforts in Europe for countries such as France and Norway to break into those markets?
The job he is doing in France and all these other countries is unbelievable. What this guy's done, and his press conference that he was having today, I just remembered what it was, is huge too. I'm telling you, how long have you been here now?
18 months.
18 months. What this guy has done in 18 months, we couldn't do in 13 fucking years. We tried, believe me, we tried hard.
One other country that was discussed recently was Finland. I don't know, is that potentially in the plans for this year, a Helsinki show?
Yeah, we had some discussions in Helsinki, and again, they, you know, the city now end up putting a we go into a bid process, so the cities come to us with what they propose, and we liked it. We liked everything about it. There was a couple of things that we didn't like, and there was other cities that we preferred. So we'll be making an announcement on where we'll be going in that 4th quarter in the next 10 days. Okay.
So you've now got a situation where they're coming to you with bids and you say yes, no?
Yeah, including the city, so the mayor and the council. The economic impact on Dublin this weekend is huge. Think about the restaurants, think about the bars, think about the hotels, think about the airline flights. So that's how you build that. You know, that's how you build up. We're in a bid process. People want. There's only going to be so many you can have in any given year. There's a lot more cities than there are events.
Is there a figure estimated for the economic
impact here?
Yeah.
We're having a study done this weekend to measure it.
Gary, you mentioned on Wednesday that there was going to be 5 EMA events this year. There should be 2 more left after this, Turkey and Sweden. Does that mean one of them's off?
We actually said we were going to do 6. We've got 1 more to come in the 4th quarter. The other one was in Turkey, in Istanbul, if you remember. Yeah. And there was some political unrest down there, and it left us a little bit nervous, so we just decided we didn't need to go into there. But we're going to postpone that and maybe go back to that market. That's still a big market, but we have to be careful.
Will that date be replaced with another European city this year?
Yes, it will.
Any?
Sorry? Cork. We're going to go to Cork.
You know, it's funny, all the interviews I did today, they're like, when are you coming back to Dublin? I love that question. I haven't even fucking left yet. The fight's tomorrow.
And Dana, you said to me in Berlin that Fox Sports were possibly they were interested in taking this fight. Obviously, Colin Miller dropped out since then. Did that have anything to do with them not taking it up, or was it dead?
They want all these fights.
But do you want this obviously on Fight Pass? Obviously, you've added Invicta.
So what happened? Just so you know, we went in and we offered Fox Sports these fights that we're doing in Europe and everything else, and they took a pass on it. So then we started Fight Pass, and now they wish they didn't take a pass on it.
And as well, how much obviously you've added Invicta, Fighting Champs with Sean and Nap? Have the subscriptions gone up since then? How much of an impact has that made on Fight Pass?
Has Invicta?
Yeah.
No. I don't know. I don't know if they've gone up. But what happens is we sign Invicta, but when the fight happens, people that want to see the fight, like I said, you're going to have these people. Fight Pass keeps getting better and better. Tons of good feedback about it and everything now. And you're going to have the people who are going to pay the $10 a month that have to get all the content and do whatever they want to do. And then you're going to have people that will jump in for that month for that fight. And then they'll jump in another month for another fight. And now we're starting to offer year memberships and all these other things. So you're going to have all types of different people that purchase it in different ways.
Do you have an update on Stefan Struve?
Yeah, Stefan's okay as far as I know. Everything's good, and he wants to fight, and he wants to sit down and talk. And
are you interested in that?
Yeah, I love Stefan Struve. I love the kid.
Would he have to go through a serious amount of tests?
It's not. He already did. He's been cleared to fight. It wasn't his physical; it was his mental that night. I think. He started to black. It's just he's he had this issue, and I'm sure he's nervous about his his health. So we'll see if he can't do that again. That can't happen again. So
you recently signed Holly Holm, and that excited a lot of people. But at one point, it seemed like the deal wasn't going to get done. So how did you get it done?
Lorenzo did it.
Did she get a better deal than some of the other bantamweights? Because it seemed like money was an issue for a while.
No, I wouldn't say she got a better deal than anybody. The market there is what it is. You get a huge lottery ticket if you get the fight with Ronda Rousey. That's your lottery ticket.
And you will get that fight as well. I mean, I know she's healing up right now, but is there a plan to bring her right into a title shot as well, or do you think she would have to fight first?
Yeah, she'll fight. She's in the UFC. She'll fight. Some of the girls and work her way up to Ronda maybe.
We haven't talked to you since 176 was canceled. Can you just explain why you decided to make that move?
We lost the main event, and we started working on putting together different fights and trying to keep the thing together, and it just made more sense to cancel it.
For us, it's just, for the viewer, for the fans.
We didn't cancel it, we postponed it.
Postponed, fair. But it's just like, oh, there's no event. But for you guys, what's the ramifications there? Staples Center, pay-per-view, how big of a hit do you take when you do something like that?
Well, it's not fun to cancel events, but 13 years, we've canceled 2 events. It's not too bad.
But does that really piss off the pay-per-view providers? Does that piss off Staples Center?
Well, it's not great for anybody. And ticket sales were kicking ass for that fight too. So
why didn't you just keep it
sucks too
with Jacare and Musasi and make that the main event?
We could have done that, and we looked at a couple other fights, but we just thought it was better to postpone it.
What's Chris Weidman's turnaround there?
What's the what?
What's Chris Weidman's turnaround?
We haven't talked to Chris yet, so I don't want to say anything until we talk to Chris.
Who would you like to see him fight?
He wants to fight Vitor Belfort. He wants to fight Vitor Belfort.
His licensing, would he any update in Nevada?
We want to make that fight happen. That's the next fight. That fight should have already happened, before the Machida fight. That's the fight we want to do, and that's the fight that Chris Weidman wants. I love this kid calling out Vitor, and he's awesome.
Do you still think Vitor deserves it after being on the sidelines for so long?
He wants to fight. The champ wants to fight Vitor Belfort, man. I don't blame him. I would too.
Does that fight have to take place in Nevada?
No, it doesn't have to take place in Nevada.
But he would have to.
That fight would be big in Brazil too.
You would do that in Brazil?
I would do it in Brazil. As long as the commission clears him. Yeah.
So you'd have to go through Nevada. Would have to get the okay. Right?
Yeah. We'd want the okay from Nevada, and if Nevada was cool with it, I'd do it in Brazil.
But for Chris, it seems like as the champion to go to Brazil, not the best deal, right?
Yeah, where are we going to go? New York?
No, but we could go to Nevada.
Yeah, we could do Nevada. you know. But I'm saying, you asked me. I said I'd do the fight in Brazil. You know how big that fight would be in Brazil?
Yeah.
Huge.
Probably sell at Crow Park here as well.
Huh?
You sell at Crow Park if you want to do here for that.
Yeah. That fight would be big in Brazil. That would be a big stadium. We'd sell out there and be a big fight.
Dana, are you optimistic then if you've got Gina's meeting next week, you've signed Holly, that within a couple of months you could have Cyborg as well, so you'd have all of them fighting and lining up?
Not ready for Cyborg.
No?
No.
I'm
not ready for the shit I'm going to hear from you fucking guys with Cyborg. I told you, this whole script will flip when I sign her. As soon as the day I fucking sign Cyborg, all you're going to be talking to me about is drug testing. Drugs.
Dana, given the fact
funny game you guys play with me.
Given the fact that the UFC self-regulates events outside of the United States, does that give you any leeway?
Certain states. I mean, certain.
Well, in Europe and things like that, right?
Huh?
You self-regulate in Europe. You follow what the commissions in the US do. Right. Does that give you any leeway to try alternative judging methods or alternative?
An alternative to doing what?
Alternative judging methods, because I know you're quite unhappy with judging in the States.
No. So what we do is when we leave in the places that we do self-regulate, we follow the exact guidelines of the Nevada state.
In theory, you'd be able to change it if you wanted to.
Yeah, but I wouldn't.
Yeah, right.
You know, unless Nevada did.
What was your initial reaction when you heard Fargo Tino had tested positive for EPO?
Yeah, it just sucked. It sucks.
Do you think the ban justifies the crime, 1 year ban, or do you think it's more severe?
Yeah, whatever they say is what it is.
Would that apply to markets like you were saying?
Oh yeah.
So your entire roster would cost you way too much money.
It's millions of dollars.
Yeah. Do you think that maybe you could just start with?
And what people don't get about that, when people ask, they're like, I saw some stuff on there, people on Twitter going, how can it be millions of dollars? That makes just the flights alone. The flights to go back and forth, depending on where you got guys fighting. If your main event is Brazil, you know, I'm saying if your main event is Brazilian, and the other guy is in Seattle, these drug guys are flying back and forth nonstop, plus the testing and everything else. It ends up being millions of dollars to.
Do you think that perhaps you could just start with championship bouts, so that at least people that are buying pay-per-views to watch a championship bout, it kind of keeps the integrity of the championship belt? And
so here's what we're probably going to end up doing. We're going to allocate a number. It's going to be a number that we're going to spend on drug testing that year, and it'll be in the hands of the Athletic Commission for them to decide who gets tested, when they get tested, all that shit. We just put up the money, a certain dollar amount.
Dana, to go back to tomorrow's fights, obviously there's a strong prelims with a lot of Irish guys in the card. Neil Seary, Colin Pender, Paddy Houlihan. Are you expecting a full house for the opening bout?
Are you kidding me? Were you at the weigh-ins today? Yeah, I mean, I think this place is going to be packed for the first fight, and it's going to be rocking all night. It's such a unique experience to come here. I know a lot of the media guys from the United States wanted to be here this week for this fight, whether their companies paid for it or they didn't, you know. I know some of you guys are out of pocket on your own from the States to come cover this fight. First of all, thank you. Second of all, good decision. You know, if you're a fight fan, then this is a fight to see.
It was full 5 years ago when the first bout took place. Completely full.
It's going to be crazy, man. It's such an awesome experience to be a fight fan and come to a place like this. It's so cool.
Hey Dana, if Gunnar Nelson wins tomorrow, he'll be 4-0 in the UFC. Do you think he could be the next poster boy for a European card?
No doubt about it. I mean, people love Gunnar Nelson too. It's so funny how you get two sides of the one extreme. You got a Conor McGregor who's just off the charts, you know, crazy. And then you got Gunnar Nelson who doesn't say shit. You know, even in his interviews, so they're like 2 or 3 words. People are just crazy about the kid, you know. Even today, you got a standing ovation here. Is he Irish?
That's not
He's not, right?
He's from Iceland.
Yeah, he's from Iceland. Like he was born in Iceland.
Yeah, but he trains with Conor.
Right.
We're training since 06 here.
A lot of fights there.
Oh, they love him here too.
He says he wants to fight Rory, and Rory doesn't have a fight.
Who does, Gunnar?
Yeah.
That seems a little quick to me too, to jump right up to a kid like Rory. But who knows?
You've taken kind of a slow approach. I mean, he's fought a lot, and people think that he's ready for a top 10, maybe even top 5.
What people?
The people.
The people?
Yeah. The ones on Twitter that you love.
Those people?
Yeah. Who you sometimes.
Those are the same people that when I put that Sakuraba video up were saying, get Sakuraba a fight. Did you not understand the fucking premise of that video and what was being said in that video?
I thought you don't pay attention to the internet.
I don't. But I told you I'd put that up.
Yeah, but
what do you think? I didn't read it?
Don't read it, yeah.
Of course I read it.
Why not? Just ignore them. Just post it and walk away.
Huh?
It's better that way.
You're a dick. You're a dick.
No, that's the best way to do it.
Oh.
Don't listen to people.
Speaking, how pleased are you that you rewarded Ross Pearson for the victory that he got a loss in, and he's back really quickly now. He's stepped in against Abel Trujillo.
He won
that's
that
a great fight.
He won that fight. You don't have to be English to know he won that fight. He won that fight.
But you're pleased he stepped back in so quickly when you needed a guy to fight.
But that's the type of kid he is. That's the type of kid he is. He's that guy.
Good fight with Trujillo.
Yeah, great fight. That's a great fight.
Ben, speaking of poster boys, not seen Manuwa for a while.
Who?
Jimi Manuwa.
Yeah.
Any plans for him?
He's here, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's here. Yeah, I'm sure we're gonna. What happened? Wasn't he injured? I think he was injured. Am I wrong?
Who's injured?
Manuwa was injured, wasn't he? Didn't he get hurt in that fight?
He took some time off. He felt in time.
He thought he hurt his ribs or hurt something in that fight. Yeah. So I think he was hurt. So when he's ready to go, we're ready to go.
Okay, still
we got plenty of fights to put him on.
Shogun, can you bring him to Vegas or European still?
Yeah, we go wherever we end up. He could go anywhere, not just the UK.
Him and Shogun.
There you go.
In Dublin.
I love when you guys matchmake. I love when you guys matchmake. Yo.
Did you see Floyd in the press? He said he wasn't aware of Ronda, and then he's come out and apologised.
Oh, he did? He apologized?
Yeah, he did.
When?
Congratulated her on her.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Do you think that kind of highlights Floyd's sort of lack of interest in MMA, or do you think he's genuinely intimidated by
Ronda
combat sports?
No, I think that, it definitely sucks when you're Floyd, and you're unbeaten 17 years and everything else, and people are debating whether this chick can beat you up or not. You know what I mean? I don't think that's fun for him, but, if Floyd really understood MMA and how it works and her level of judo and everything else, it's a hard thing for guys to wrap their brain around that a woman could do that to you. But it's cool that he came out and said, it's cool that he did. And of course, what he said was, I never heard of him. So that was kind of his dig.
Do you believe him?
At her. Do you believe him?
No.
Me neither.
It's a difficult position for Floyd.
Everybody's been saying it for so long. He knows, but.
Like if Floyd turns around and says, someone says to Floyd, I think Ronda Rousey beat you, he can't turn around and why would not that woman out? Right. In the headlines the next
That's
day.
why I said it's a no-win situation. Yeah. You'd be like, I'd kick her ass, and you're talking about beating up a woman, and it's a no-win situation for Floyd.
After Rousey's last performance, winning in 16 seconds, there's been a lot of comparisons of her and Tyson in his heyday, where perhaps people are tuning in just to, they don't care if it's a 5-round war, they're expecting maybe a quick finish. Is that a fair comparison?
No doubt about it. You have to wonder how fast is this going to be. Her last performance was unbelievable. And the thing that's scary about Ronda is, you knew where her judo was anyway. Now her hands are getting really good. Like her hands are legit now. And she was telling me during that fight, she said when I hit her, I knocked her out with the shot, and then I sort of caught her under her arms, hit her with a knee, and then threw her. And she said her body was just like a rag doll, when she went. And she said it all happened so fast. What's crazy about the Ronda fight, 16 seconds, but what happened in that 16 seconds was unbelievable.
How did her knee surgery?
Huh?
How did her knee surgery?
It went great. Yep. She didn't have surgery.
Like a scope,
She just had a scope, yeah.
She's fine.
Do you ever get worried that Ronda will clean out the division and there's no one there for her to fight?
Well, she's got some fights set up for a while, so.
She's taking care of them pretty quick.
She really is. I don't worry about that kind of stuff, though. It's whatever happens out. People ask me, do you worry Hollywood's going to take her? Do you worry that this and that? If Hollywood takes Ronda Rousey and she becomes a huge star, how's that bad for us? And she's the woman who launched this division and women's fighting in the UFC.
Dana, could I just ask? Obviously, we've seen how Conor McGregor and Michael Bisping have been great poster boys for European MMA. Do you feel it's important that there's a female European fighter? I know there's two inside the Ultimate Fighter house at the minute. Do you think it's important that European have a female face of MMA as well?
It's definitely not a bad thing. Yeah, I think it's great. And you're right. There's two in there right now. One of them has fought already, and we'll see how it goes.
Dana, Luke Barnett's come out and said that he would like his next fight to be Wanderlei Silva. What's your thoughts on that fight?
He's going to be waiting a while.
Have you talked to BJ Penn?
I have not talked to BJ. Talked to his brother.
How's he doing?
BJ, this is BJ, man. This is how awesome BJ is. So BJ had his family out there. I think his wife and kids, you know. And they're heading to the States right now with his wife and kids, traveling around the United States in an RV.
But do you know, has anyone talked to him, like, do you know how he's handling the end of his career? No. Leaving him alone?
Yeah.
Will there be a position for BJ in the company similar?
BJ owns his own UFC gym in Hawaii. He's doing all right.
For some reason, that RV thing just reminded me of. Remember, there was a few shows where Matt Serra like went off. He went to Chael's place, and it was like a fly on the wall documentary kind of thing.
I didn't see
like
that.
A countdown thing. You know what I'm talking about? What was it called?
Road trip or something?
Because it was quite good. You know, Serra's a character, and then it stopped.
He's awesome.
So I don't know what. If you don't remember.
Oh yeah, where he was going and doing things.
Went in the gym, went to the house,
yeah. Well, the thing is, look at the guys that Sarah and Longo are pumping out now. I mean, they're creating fucking unbelievable what these guys are doing.
Neighborhood guys as well.
Yeah, it's unbelievable what those guys are. They're one of the best camps in the world now, without a doubt. Yeah.
They can have their own reality show on Fight Pass.
Yeah, they could.
Sounds like BJ's
on friggin' Fox, they could have their own reality show.
Dana, Cage Warriors announced a few weeks ago that they're going to have British and Irish Four Nations Championship belts or championships outside of their World Championships. What's your A, thought on that, and B, would you maybe consider doing that for UFC, having continental championship? Yeah.
We've talked about that, and I know he likes it. He likes it. I don't like it. I like world champions. I like how once you start getting too many champions, man, it turns into boxing, and you just don't know who's who anymore. That's my take on it. But he's going to keep battling for it. He loves it.
European champion is quite a distinct thing, though. It's not like a small minor boxing side.
I agree. It's true.
The Europeans would go for it, I think.
Dana, speaking of titles, obviously I've mentioned to you, I think it was in Berlin, about a European title fight. Brad Pickett, if he was to win on Saturday, obviously we big scalp, #1 contendership against DJ. He's fought him before, he's beaten him before. Could that be a potential European title fight if Brad was to get a win on Saturday night?
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. We're going to go with that. You can take full credit for that.
Is that set in stone? If he wins, is he #1 contender?
I like it. Let's see what happens.
Does he have to put McCall away to do it? It can't be the same fight as him and Siri in London.
What's that?
Well, I'll have to slow down speaking. Will it be, he'll have to put him away, or it can't be the same as London? He can't go 3 rounds like he did with Neil Siri. Will he have to put Ian McCall away?
It definitely doesn't hurt when you do that, you know? But Ian's a tough, which actually you look like Ian's bigger brother. Without the twist on the mustache.
Taller.
Ian's a tough guy to do that to, so if he did, that'd be very impressive.
But that's a fight that would definitely sell.
I love it. I love that fight.
Would you go as a main event pay-per-view number?
I don't know. Listen, I don't make fights right here, right now. You got a great idea. Let's see what happens. Okay. I like it.
Fair enough.
This Gina Carano fight with Ronda, she gets the immediate shot. Like, is she getting that just because she's a big name? She's not had a fight since 2009.
Here's the thing with that. Yeah. You're gonna bring me into the Cyborg water again, but you know, she did a damn good job against Cyborg, and Cyborg was a little jacked up on Mountain Dew in that fight. You know what I mean? Huh?
It was 5 years.
Yeah.
At 145.
And she's the one that started this whole, women's MMA craze, and Ronda wants to fight her. Ronda has done everything that we have asked her to do. You know, this is like a GSP situation when GSP asked us for Diaz. You know, how would I say no to GSP? Ronda wants this fight bad.
But is Gina getting off with Ronda or nothing?
Gina wants to fight bad too.
She doesn't want a tune-up fight.
You're confident she can make 135?
She is.
Have you spoken to her about keeping training over this period?
She's been training since she left MMA.
Doesn't stop, no.
Yeah, she's obviously not training like she trained for, for fights, but she's been training.
You've been a couple of feet from her. How does she look?
She looks great. Better than looking great. Wait till you hear her talk and what she says and what she has to say about all this. It's pretty awesome.
See it as competitive, given how Ronda's been going through everybody else. See Gina as competitive.
We'll see. Is she going to be any less competitive than any of the girls she's fought? You know what I mean? The last fight, look at Alexis Davis. Alexis Davis is awesome. 16 seconds. You think Carano's going to be less competitive than that? 6 seconds?
Do you think?
I mean, right?
I think Alexis looked a bit maybe too calm.
What was the fight before that with McMahon? How much?
It was like a minute.
A minute. You think Gina's going to be less competitive than a minute or 16 seconds?
This is kind of where we are with Ronda now, is we're calculating her fights by how long the opponents are going to last. It's a little bit like Wanderlei in pride, not like Wanderlei.
When you've spoken to Gina about Ronda, does she see her as quite inexperienced compared to her, so that's where she sees her advantage? Does she talk about that?
She loves her, and she says she's the reason she really got into it, and she respects her a lot. And she says Ronda thinks that Gina's better than people think she is.
And what does Gina say to you about Ronda as well?
She loves Ronda, and she respects her, and they both have a lot of respect for each other.
It's kind of interesting though, from Ronda's perspective. Like, I love this girl so much, I want to beat her ass.
Right.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Sure. Ronda is a different animal, man. She's fucking fascinating. She's the greatest athlete I've ever worked with, on every level. I mean, she's just, everybody talks about how I'm always, Ronda this and Ronda that. It's hard not to Ronda this and Ronda that when you deal with her. And then you look at her, and you know something? With this whole Hollywood thing that's happening to her, the amount of sponsors she has, the success she's had, the fame, et cetera, she could be one of these chicks that could just keep world-class judo. She could keep throwing girls down and trying to armbar them all day long. They're bringing in like Mexican world champion boxers. She's in there going toe-to-toe with these girls all the time. They send me all the sparring footage. You should see this shit, what she's doing to these girls. No, she's working harder. She's trying to get her hands better. She's just, I've never seen anything like it. We fly her I mean, look at the attention she gets. We have her doing all this crazy shit. She's going to China with me in like a couple weeks or whenever the hell that is. She just had knee surgery and she got her hand casted. She's going to China with me. She's got to go down to Brazil and do a bunch of stuff in Brazil. The girl never stops. She's got to promote all her movies and do all that stuff. It's unbelievable. How about this? How about she got an SB? She opted to get her surgeries instead, to get them done and get healed faster, instead of showing up and doing the whole SB thing. You know what I mean? It's a huge deal. Every big star and all of sports is there. This girl went and got both her surgeries done so that she could heal faster and get back in there and perform again. I've never dealt with anybody like her.
Do you see Rousey and Carano as that end of year show perhaps? Does it need a big build? Yeah, the end of year extravaganza.
It won't be the end of the year, but it'll probably be early December.
Is she one of those that understands the window? Like, she has a small window to make as much money as she can? And
nobody gets it more than she does. And believe me when I tell you, she's making a lot of money.
Do you never worry though you might hit peak Ronda? Because a lot of the MMA pages like Ronda.
Yeah, it drives us crazy because there was this thing that came out about all the female athletes and who's the highest paid female athlete. It's Ronda, but
Do you think she's the biggest female sports star in the world, even in any sport right now? Potentially.
I don't know.
We've been talking about it with a few people.
The SB thing didn't hurt. I think that thing, 2.2 million people were watching the ESPYs, and to see Ronda win, which basically, like I said, for the Oscars, is Best Actress, and the male gets Best Actor. You know what I mean? That's basically what that was for the ESPYs. Her and Kevin Durant. So it's a big deal. A lot more people are aware of Ronda after that if they weren't before that.
What does it do for your company that she wins that as well? That she's won that?
It's it's good to finally see our athletes recognized. by somebody like, and when you think about, if you think about, since we've done this Fox deal in the United States, it could be a situation where ESPN shuns us even more. But it seemed like since we've done the deal with Fox, it's given us the credibility where ESPN is actually really showing us the respect and our athletes the respect that they deserve, and it's awesome to see ESPN doing that.
What's the criteria from Gina's side to sign the deal next week?
The criteria?
Yeah, is there certain stipulations that
I mean, I think the criteria is us sitting in a room together with a lawyer. You know, I can't wait to meet this guy. Face to face.
Do you foresee problems? Because you're quite confident.
No, it's definitely not going to be. It's not going to be, you know, it's going to be a typical Monday. Shitty day.
You'll get it done though.
Yeah.
You've kind of given us some leverage though. You've already promised the title shot and a big payday. You know, then you're going to go and do the deal. And she knows you want to make that fight. She can sit back and go, ah, stick another zero.
Yeah. Probably.
She can have another zero and then.
Well, we'll either say no to that zero or yes to that zero.
Yeah.
Dana, Gary mentioned on Wednesday.
I'm not, when we go into deals and do stuff, it's not like we go into a deal and we're like, you know, me and Lorenzo are like, all right, let's work this thing in there, and let's screw this girl out of money she deserves, or screw this guy out of money they deserve. If you're a needle mover and you do something, you're going to get paid.
Yeah.
You know, you get paid. We don't go in there and bullshit and try to whatever. We go in there to get a deal done and be fair and do what's right.
And you would anticipate the needle moving for that fight.
Look at how much I've said. You know, I haven't made it like, nah, we can live her. The UFC will live without Gina Carano. We don't need Gina Carano. When realistically, a lot of you are bitching like, you think Gina Carano deserves this? You think she's competitive? Do you think she's this? Do you think she's that? I'm actually the one saying yes, like I'm her fucking agent, and I'm trying to do the deal with the UFC. You know, but that's not really how we play. I think that Gina is important. I think that it is a big fight. It's a fight that Ronda Rousey wants. You know, and Ronda's been very good to us, man. And if that's what she wants, then I'm going to try to get it done.
Danny, Gary mentioned on Wednesday about a possible European edition of the Ultimate Fighter. How does that sound to you, and would you like to see a personality like Conor McGregor as one of the coaches, or is it immaterial who the coaches are? You feel it's going to grow the sport in this region?
Yeah, I think Conor's got some work to do before he's coach of the Ultimate Fighter. You know, he's just getting, he's not even in the top 10 yet. But I told you I want Ultimate Fighter everywhere. So a European Ultimate Fighter would be amazing. And believe me, if anybody's going to get it done, it's going to be Gary Cook. He'll get it done.
Dana, you've lost Chael, you've lost Anderson till next year anyway, and you've lost GSP all in the space of 12 months. How important is it for the UFC that Conor, you know, fulfills the potential that is there?
Well, you know, you can't worry about stuff like that. Whatever happens on Saturday night is going to happen. That's up to Diego and Conor. You know, people always ask me this question with all these guys out. I mean, look at all the guys that are here now and the guys that are coming back as soon as they're coming off these injuries. You know, we got the heavyweight champion coming back. Johnny Bones Jones is going to fight Gustafsson. Pettis is going to be back and he's going to fight Melendez. The end of this year and the beginning of next year are going to fucking kick ass. Great fights.
Just on the Gustafsson Jones fight, there was a few rumours circulating online that could be in a late night event in Sweden, a stadium show. Was there any substance to those rumours? Did it come close? And is that something you may look at again down the line?
That was absolutely true. It was either going to be Toronto, Vegas, or Sweden. And we even talked about Dallas, Texas Stadium at one point. But I said it before and I'll say it again. Vegas wanted that fight bad.
Sorry.
So Vegas got it.
Sorry. What do you think? For this card day in Dublin, you've also got a massive fight next weekend with Robbie Lawler and Matt Brown.
I'm excited for that.
Is it still the winner will get a title shot guaranteed?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's Johnny Hendricks' time frame at the moment in terms of how he's feeling with this?
Johnny, that's the other one. Johnny Hendricks will be back too. Johnny Hendricks will be back. Dillashaw and Barao are going to fight again. The list goes on and on. I don't know when Johnny's coming back soon.
What do you think about these European fighters that won in the UFC Fan Expo? There was the IMAF World Championship, so they are all amateurs fighters. but most of them, most of the winners were European fighters. So what do you think about these future fighters that maybe?
Yeah, I love it. You're starting to see, you know, a lot of Europeans now training in mixed martial arts. Plus, you know, Europe was always big for judo, and it's the evolution, man. It's the evolution of this sport. And when I always talk about the potential for the sport and how big it's going to be, and et cetera, I mean, it just keeps. Look at Ireland. I mean, look at Ireland. What do you think is going to happen when we do our first fight in France? You know, what do you think when he was talking about Helsinki and all these other places that we're talking about going to? And as these television deals get done, and just like what's happening here in Ireland, it's going to be on free TV to 100% of this country. It's just, I'm telling you guys, man, the stuff that we're working on, the stuff that he is working on alone is crazy shit. The stuff that he is working on is crazy and huge. Never mind the stuff that we're working on in China and the things that are going on in Brazil and the future in the United States and the amount of talent that's coming up. And, you know, all these guys that would have played something else. Like when you go into a place like Ireland, and I'm going to speak out of turn here because I don't know exactly what the hell I'm talking about. I know there's rugby, soccer, that weird fucking racket that was on the thing today. All right, you know,
you're still in Ireland.
You got sports like that, right? But this is another sport here in this country now that Conor McGregor and all these other guys from Ireland now can participate in and become world champions and make big money, and you know, it just, in the United States, it's, when you talk about sports, there's so many different sports in the United States, from professional football, soccer, baseball, basketball, then you got college football, college basketball, you got baseball, and the list, golf, and all these other sports that you got in the United States. Some of these other countries we go in, there's 1 or 2 or 3 sports in the country, and that's it. And not everybody can play those sports, and not all of those leagues are really that big, you know. And I say it all the time, and I'll say it again. Whatever, I'm sure soccer's big here, and rugby, and all this other stuff. If Conor McGregor becomes a fucking UFC world champion, he will be the biggest star in this country. You know, because at the end of the day, people who live in a certain country, and somebody who is from their country, speaks like them, comes from where they come from, and he's the baddest fucking dude in the world, that is what everybody notices, and that's what everybody really cares about at the end of the day. It's the whole fighting analogy that I talk about. Look how big Barry McGuigan was. You know, Wayne McCullough. When Wayne would fight in Boston, it was fucking crazy. Crazy when Wayne would fight in Boston. And
Danny, do you think because Conor is so popular, he's taking the pressure off the rest of the Irish guys in the card?
Oh, the rest of the Irish kids?
Yeah.
I think every guy is going to feel that pressure fighting in their home country and in an event so big with so much intensity and excitement behind it. And the crowd doesn't help. You know, it's a catch-22. It fires you up and gets you excited, but it fucking rattles you at the same time.
When you were studying between those two, Conor and Brandon, and you kind of had to get your hands involved and stuff, like, what did the energy feel like off him? You know, were you ready to go?
It was awesome. When I walked back behind the curtain, I was like, holy fucking shit, that just happened. That was insane. The crowd, the shit he was saying, the shit he was saying, and it was just, I love it, man. Love it.
Can you tell us about how when the UFC event comes to a city that there's a massive economic impact for the travel and tourism? One of the major news headlines that's made front page news all week here in Ireland specifically has been the Garth Brooks concert cancellations. Have you heard about that?
Somebody said something about him doing 5 dates here or something today, but I didn't understand what it...
So what happened, and correct me if I'm wrong from the Irish guys here, but he was originally planned to have 3 concerts, sold out within minutes, wanted a 4th and 5th, sold tickets for it but didn't get permission to have the 4th and 5th date, and then said either I'm having 5 dates or nothing at all, and then the council said, right, I'll do nothing at all. It wasn't granted a license. It wasn't granted a license, so he said, right, I'm not going to do any. So you've had all these thousands of tickets sold around the world, people can't, you know, obviously get their money back, but you know, flights are booked, hotels are booked, and I've been getting reaction from fighters all week who've been talking about, well, you know, the UFC's here, and you know, so if anyone can't get to a Garth Brooks concert, maybe watch a UFC event on TV, but the UFC wouldn't do something like that. such an important market. So that's one trying to get your kind of reaction to.
Yeah, no, it's huge because, like Gary said, we're doing an independent study here to see what the actual impact is. You know, last weekend or 2 weekends ago, whenever the International Fight Week was for 4th of July, we had a $175 million impact on the city of Las Vegas, and that's non-gaming revenue. You know, you're talking just hotels, restaurants, shopping at the malls, going to the nightclubs, etc. And it'll be the same here. Shit, my bar tab tonight's going to have a huge impact on the city.
Ireland could be the worst country you've ever said I'm going to buy everyone a drink in.
What's that? Yeah, I couldn't have picked a worse country to say, hey, I'm buying beers. Some guy said on Twitter, brave man to offer to buy free beer in Ireland.
Dana, just a question. Cam McLaren's coming in to the fight tomorrow.
He's here. Yeah, he was here at the weigh-in tonight.
Is he been invited by the UFC?
Has he been what?
Is it off his own back, or has he been invited by the UFC?
Yeah, no, he wanted to come to this event, and he hit me up and said, hey, I want to come. I said, no problem. Yep.
Is he just here as a fan, or as a?
Yeah, as a fan. He's here as a fan. Yeah, he's Scottish apparently, and so he's like Scottish, Irish. It's all the same.
Now when it comes to whiskey.
Then I know you obviously have so many new markets that you're trying to get to. Is there one market that you haven't been to yet that you've secured and that you will be going to at some stage in 2015?
India's one we've been working on hard, and we're very interested in. And there's still a lot of things that we want to do down in the Middle East that Gary's working on. Gary's working on some really good stuff in the Middle East.
So would you say that India's the closest to being a guarantee for at some stage in 2015?
Well, I'm saying that's the one that we really care about, that we really want to figure out and get done.
With Conor, like Conor McGregor, and you get a guy like that and he's a big star and he appeals to, you know, the Irish Americans, and like, I mean, first of all, how far away from being a pay-per-view star do you think he is? And second, how much do you have to discipline yourself not to like throw him straight in, you know, let him build a bit rather than...
Well, the great thing about a guy like Conor McGregor and being Irish, you know, obviously, we've said it a million times how the Irish support the Irish, but the other great thing is that everybody in America thinks they're fucking Irish. So it's a home run.
Or Scottish.
Yeah, but I know how the Irish feel about the fake Irish in the United States. But there's a huge market for the Irish in the United States. You know, you go into Boston, you go into New York, you go into Chicago, really, really big Irish markets.
Do you have to like discipline yourself though, to like hold back and let Conor take his time to build rather than, you know?
I don't have to worry about me taking my time. I don't want to rush the kid. He's going to push to be rushed, but we'll see. We'll see what he does tomorrow night. Tomorrow night is going to tell everything, because Diego's in great shape. Diego's highly motivated. This is a big fight for both these kids, and we'll see how it goes.
Last one from me. I was at a press conference about 2 years ago when Gary was coming on board, and you said like, if this guy can't figure it out, nobody can, and we're probably pretty much going to give up on the European market because we've tried and tried. And you know, do you stand by that? And you think Gary's proven to be the key for this market?
Without a doubt. I can't say it enough. Do you remember I said that day? I told you guys. I said, this is the guy. This is the guy. Believe me when I tell you, this is the guy. You know, he's the guy.
Did he have a good appraisal after his first year?
Huh?
Did he have a good appraisal after his first year?
Yeah, he's a rock star, man. He's one of the greatest hires we've ever had in the UFC, without a doubt. Totally sharp guy, gets it, dove right into it, and made it his own. Every time people come out here, whether it's in the UK or Ireland or wherever his team that he built is, I hear nothing but great things about everything they're doing. And then let's not even talk about the deals that this guy's working on and what he's brought to the table for the UFC throughout Europe and the Middle East. He's just absolutely killed it, man. Stud.
Dana, just one more question for me. A lot has been made, and even at this press conference here as well, about how you haven't been here in 5 years, and you said people were already asking you when are you coming back. Is Is it limiting the fact that our largest indoor venue in this country is 9,500 people? Would you prefer to come back, knowing how this one's sold, ideally it would be a 20-seater, 25-seater next time around?
I mean, that's what Gary was just saying a few minutes ago. Everybody was saying, what about this, what about that? He's like, I wish you guys had bigger arenas, you know?
Is an outdoor arena?
Oh, an outdoor would be a fucking nightmare here.
Yeah, it would.
When I landed yesterday, I was like, are we in Ireland? This can't be fucking Ireland. It's sunny out.
Right.
Now I'm in Ireland. Now I know I'm in Ireland.
Well,
today.
What if you just do 2 shows here, man? Friday and Saturday.
The only place I will do an outdoor arena is
2 shows, Friday and Saturday?
Friday and Saturday, 2 shows?
Yeah.
Gary seems to like it. Come here for 5 days like Garth Brooks.
It should be known we cancelled Garth Brooks hoping that you'd say, look, the O2 ain't big enough, let's just move it down the road.
Yeah. Hey, that would be great. If you guys had an arena that was indoors and had a lot of seats, we would definitely do it in a minute. This event, understand this event became like an event in itself, the fact that it was in Dublin, and everybody knows how awesome the last Dublin event was. And I don't disagree with anybody that says we could have done a much bigger arena. Absolutely could have done a much bigger arena. And it's just that it's not here. It's not.
Yes, was 20,000. I'm not too sure. It's open though, isn't it? It's open, but you know we can all pray.
Yeah. I know, fuck that. No way, man. Fighting outside, it makes no sense. If it even sprinkles, it sucks. Imagine how slippery that mat would get. And, you know, the people sitting outside, I don't know people here are used to rain, but...
So we're not getting our Crow Park show?
No, probably not.
Dave, if you just go back to Saturday night, Neil Seary and Brad Pickett in London, it was a great showing from Neil, although he lost the fight. Billy Harris was let go and he was brought back in. Is it a must win for both guys Saturday night?
I was saying this earlier, you know, guys like that come in and they lay it all out and they just fight. Man, I love guys like that. And at the end of the day, eventually it's about losses and wins. But when you fight the way that those guys fight and you go out and you put it on, it would take a lot for me to, you know what I mean? It would take a lot for me to say, oh, this guy's got to go. Not with the way they fight. Love it.
Dave, you're obviously a big boxing fan. I don't know if you're aware, did you watch the Froch Groves rematch that was held at the England National Stadium?
I didn't
Wembley?
see that fight. I heard it was really good, though.
It was great.
I heard it was really good.
It was, yeah, great fight, great event. But I was just wondering, what kind of UFC super fight currently do you think could rival that kind of magnitude in terms of stadium fight, maybe in the US where the weather would permit such a...
Oh, I can tell you right now, if we did that Gustafsson-Jones fight in Sweden, what was the arena we were looking at, 45?
There was one at 60 and one at 45.
45 to 60,000 people we would have done for that fight if we did it in Sweden.
Yeah. Dana, will the fans have to pay more to watch Invicta, or as long as they're subscribed, are they going to be able to watch it?
Subscribe on Fight Pass.
Because in the UK, to watch Ultimate Fighter Season 19, even if you're a Fight Pass subscriber, you still have to pay extra to watch each episode, so it's going to be free included.
Is that true?
Yeah.
No.
It's 2 weeks today, isn't it?
If you're watching, for example, what the latest Ultimate Fighter, you have to pay for the season pass.
You have to pay more.
Yeah.
There's a 30-day delay on the
sure.
episodes coming out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's because of the existing contract. That's in the UK, right? Because that's the BT. That's impacting the. Sorry, BT is impacting the broadcast of that. Sorry, yeah. I thought you meant worldwide.
You don't pay.
You don't pay.
And then Metamorphosis, talk about it. Maybe coming on Fight Pass, is that a possibility happening?
No. What people said to me was, would you do it? I said, sure, that's something we'd look at too. I don't know if we've talked to them or what's going on. I don't know. I'm not involved in that.
Have you any interest in watching Chael Sonnen's match?
Watching who, Chael?
Yeah, and Metamorphosis 4.
Yeah, I hope Chael does well. Who's he wrestling?
Carvalho.
Cool.
One of the top jiu-jitsu guys in the world.
Yeah, I probably won't watch it, but I hope Chael does well. Yeah.
Can you stop now, Dana, because we're all naked. Can you stop now, because we're all naked.
I just can't imagine. I just can't imagine what other fucking question you might have. Am I watching Metamorphosis? That's what we're getting down to now.
It's 5 years worth of questions.
That's awesome.
Any update on your next fight?
On my next fight? Yeah. I'm gonna fight the treadmill tomorrow morning.
Someone actually said, Dana, downstairs that you're getting big. What's your personal best deadlift?
I'm getting big?
Yeah.
Well, I did this during International Fight Week. We had a 5K run. I ran it and it beat the living shit out of me. I literally got sick for the last 2 weeks. So I haven't even worked out in like 2 weeks since that run. That run fucking hurt me.
29 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah, did it in 29 minutes. Yeah. There's no deadlifting right now. There's no deadlifting going. Ask Lorenzo what his deadlift is. Ask Arnold Schwarzenegger what he's deadlifting right now. It's ridiculous. Now, if we're getting down to what my deadlift is, we're really scraping the bottom of the fucking bucket here.
Last question.
All right.
Once the Fight Pass camera turns off, can you tell us where you're having a drink tonight so we can join you?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I will. Don't tweet it. Don't.
I ain't tweeting it.
All right.
I want a drink with you.
Bye, Fight Pass.
Tune in tomorrow.
Thank you. Cheers, Dana.
Thank you guys. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, tell us.